Hello and welcome to In the Fabric, a series here for SAFC where we delve into the inspirations and details of our 2024-25 kits. We'll talk about the painstaking work and how these have been created to not just wow the fans but also dazzle on the pitch as well, as we continue our long but paused legacy with Hummel. Today I'm joined by two experts of the world of football shirts. Firstly, football shirt enjoyer, rater and documenter Phil Delves, who's worked closely with Hummel in the past and has reviewed pretty much every kit of recent history. Phil, nice to have you along. You are a bit of a kit man, to say the least.
Yeah, I am obsessed with football kits, and anything to do with kits I try to get involved in, whether that's writing articles, presenting videos, making videos, all sorts of things. Really, really excited to be here, and I am absolutely beaming, smiling about these kits. They look amazing.
And we're also joined by Hummel's Creative Director Rob Revell. And Rob, you've been working tirelessly behind the scenes at Hummel to create these shirts. You're going to give us a bit of an insight as how these have been created.
Yeah, certainly have. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, especially when we got onto this lovely away kit.
Yeah, we will get onto it, and we're going to get onto it right now. We'll kick things off with yourself then, Rob. We've got in front of us this away kit for the 24-25 campaign. First of all, how was it coming to work in Sunderland? What was your first impressions coming to the city, and did you realise quite fast that it's a football city, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's been incredible. Like the whole journey, like every person that you've met in the city, at the club, you realise how much they love it. Yeah. They love every single thing about it. So it adds more pressure, but it also gives you the more excitement that people are actually going to love the shirts that you're trying to create.
Yeah. Okay then, Phil, first impressions. Come on then, what's your expert eye saying?
It's all about these sleeves. I mean, we've got the long sleeve version here, which is awesome. And just seeing that pattern, which of course fans will know from the kit that it's referring to, but it goes, again, all the way down there. And the chevrons as well, all the way down. We talked about, on the home kit, having multiple chevrons, which was a big thing I was hoping to see from Hummel. We're getting that here. Just the colours as well, they're really kind of popping out. You know, you've got the white base, but it's contrasted with those sleeves. Beautiful, beautiful piece of kit.
All right then, Rob, what was the vision behind this shirt? Because many of the older Sunderland fans, the older generations, will remember something similar, won't they, from about 1992?
Yeah, 92. Look, I remember this kit. I'm old enough to remember this kit well. It's difficult sometimes when you come into a club for the first time, for a long time, and you see such an iconic kit as this, which like I've known since my first days at Hummel. It's like I've always wanted to get my hands on it. And sometimes you hold that kit back and you want to kind of like drag it out a little bit with the fans. But I think with this one, we wanted to go straight in with it. Yeah. The fans have been asking for this for so long that we just wanted to give it to them straight away. And it's just nice that the club and everybody involved has thought of the idea of taking this forwards with it as well. So this was the original crest in 92, and I think it just sits so well with this new modern version of it.
So are you aware of fans crying out for things like a new badge or going back to the old ship badge? It's a discussion that's constant on social media. Are you as a manufacturer, do you listen to those voices online?
Yeah, we definitely do. Look, we've got a team that are actually always listening for stuff like that. And when you're looking at kits like we do every day, then you pick it up, definitely. And I think the thing is, like, I love this crest. I love the new crest as well, because from a design point of view, there's like 4 or 5 different elements that I can take out of that crest. Without knowing anything about the club, I realise that crest is obviously important to the club. It's everywhere what you see around the stadium. So having multiple things that you can actually pick up on is great, but this is just beautiful.
And that's something Hummel do well, I'd imagine, and Phil, throughout the ranges over the last few years. Details, connecting with the fans and the city.
Yeah, that's it. I think Hummel shirts often do have a lot more as you get them in person. You see them in person, you get to turn bits over of the kit. If you look at the back neck, great to see the current club crest there. That's a really good way of connecting the past with the present. And I think as well, when it comes to a design which is inspired by an old shirt, a lot of people think it's easy. You think you just copy the design, right? But it isn't that. You've got to balance the kind of reverence for the old design with the modern demands for what a kit requires, and maybe taking an element and kind of tweaking it. And you can just see here just ways that Rob and the team have actually really paid tribute to the pattern, but also kept it super relevant for the modern game, and it looks great, of course. You know, fans who maybe didn't even know of this kit, or particularly fans of other clubs, neutral fans, they'll just see this pattern and be wowed by it again, as they would have been in the 90s, of course, when people saw that pattern for the first time. So much to enjoy just in person here.
Quite striking colours as well, Rob. The detail on the arms is the most eye-catching thing, but I imagine it's a bit of a task to design with the modern material something so angular on a circular piece of part of the shirt.
It looks really simple because it's like a zigzag line with like a couple of colours in it. But when you get into the practicalities of trying to do that onto a lay plan pattern, there's just nothing that works. There's no correct angle. There's angles going off all over the place. So, and before, like, this is 92, so it's before the digital age. So there's nothing that I can refer back to and just copy and paste. So this was, painstaking, but I think it was worth doing it because it just looks great. I think when we were talking about this shirt, obviously as a design team, you go down this avenue, that avenue, this avenue. But I think we'd gone down so many different pattern things, like we've seen on some of the leaked shirts that you've seen people like buying out in wherever, Turkey or whoever. But we wanted to keep it pure, and I think it needed to be a pure remake as close as possible in a modern way.
The shoulders as well, these chevrons, Phil, the chevrons are there, and that is obviously Hummel's calling card, isn't it? But they're quite subtle on a jazzy sleeve somehow. The colours, how often do you see these greens and navies on shirts?
Yeah, you're right. It's interesting to see that because, of course, we often see those chevrons kind of popping out, often in white, say on a dark base. So I really like that because it's there, you see it, but it's kind of one of a few patterns in there. So I think that works quite effectively, and that's one of the great things. Any good brand, they know when to kind of push forward and when to pull back, and I think that's what we've got here with this shirt. Of course, the sleeves are crazy, but even just having that plain base, I think that's a good balance. You know, having those sleeves, and you can enjoy those. If that pattern was on the whole of the body, it would be fun, but it would probably be a bit too much. So I think this is a really good example of kind of pushing the boat out just enough to give you that interest without going over the top.
Yeah, I think like from the brand's point of view as well, with the chevrons, we didn't want the chevrons to take away from what the design was. So we know it's a Hummel shirt. We don't want to shout about that. It's not the main important thing for us. It has to all work and not look out of place.
Yeah, Rob, let's dig into the materials then on this white shirt we have in front of us. It has this logo on the bottom. Would you mind explaining what this means? But also to speak about some of the materials in there as well. This feels a bit rubber in the manufacture. Let's go for this first, this eco thing. What's that?
Yeah, I think, well, across all of our shirts, not just with Sunderland, with everybody that we work with, it's Eco 8. So within the shirt fabric itself, it's knitted, it's recycled bottles. So there's 8 recycled bottles that make up one fabric's worth of shirt. So, I mean, it's a great thing that we want to drag across all of our football teams across the world, which I mean, I think every brand should be doing. When we get into the details of the shirts, like all of our Hummel is always in a raised rubber. It's not just like printed on, it's not just a cheap version of it. And the same with the badges as well. We never go for the cheap stick-on badges, which I've seen a lot mentioned. It's always a woven embroidery, which is the best way to do it. It looks like it's old school.
It does.
It's not going to fall off.
Well, this is a practical thing because there's going to be a lot of kids living in these strips, as I did, as you did as kids as well. The mums and dads or the carers of these children need to know this is going to last a few washes, isn't it? And all these materials are going to last stand the test of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've got kids as well. Everybody, you need it to last. And like with the cheap stick-on badges, who can tell how long it's going to last? So that's why we always go for the woven embroidery. It's
fantastic. I love the detail. There's going to be a lot of older fans remember the first time round and get it. But of course, you've got this whole new audience of people who won't remember the 92 shirt, who'll be going out and proud to wear this quite striking white there as well. There's an advert on TV at the moment where it mocks all the different kinds of whites available in a paint shop. But that's probably a serious consideration, isn't it?
It is. Look, with this one as well, because obviously we've seen the old shirt, we tried to match the colours as closely as possible to the old shirt because we felt that it needed to be that. So especially with the white as well, it has to be a pure white.
And it must be a little bit nerve-wracking as well, Rob, taking on such an iconic shirt of a football club of this size as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, the way that we've treated it, hopefully, is with reverence because it deserves it. But you always design and go as far as you can. But I think, especially on this one, it needed to be pulled back.
Yeah. Phil, can you see collectors fighting over this one? People not affiliated with the football club? Those sleeves, isn't it?
That's it. These are the kind of things which collectors and football shirt aficionados like to see. They like to see those kind of patterns. And of course, we've seen a huge wave of interest in the kind of retro side of things, but some shirts do separate themselves from the crowd. I think it's not enough just to throw random patterns, random colours. There needs to be that kind of, that authenticity there. And that's what you've got here. You've got that connection. But it is relevant, it is exciting for collectors of today. So yeah, this is definitely the one I think where I could see people from, again, around the world looking to pick this one up. It's going to have that kind of long-term value, that long-term interest for collectors. So it really is a stunning shirt.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, thanks for now. Please join us next time on In the Fabric here on SAFC. We will discuss another kit here with the guys right next to me.